Alright, hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to yet another video. Hope you're doing fantastic. My name is Jeremy and today we are in the World Dream Cruise. It's gonna be a nice productive 2 or 3 days. I'm gonna try to catch up on a lot of reading. I'm gonna try to get outdoors a little, go for a swim or something like that. And also do quite a bit of reflection over, the past 1 year of progress, work, and I like to say hustle. I'm going to be sharing all of that with you in this video, and I hope you're here for the journey and some amazing cinematics. Let's bring that back because it's just too fun not to. So let's hop into it. It's pretty hot out right now. Let me check the time. It is 11:30. I'm gonna have lunch in about 1 hour. Just wrapped up a drink. Probably gonna sit around somewhere where it's not too hot. Gonna use Notion a little bit, ideate a little, take down some notes, read a bit, and then I don't know, we eat and swim. Hopefully the weather stays up and stays good because it's nice and bright and sunny outside. What a good day. Found a good spot away from the sun right there. Alright, so I'm finally done with the script for this video. Now, I have 17 different points that I want to go across regarding some suggestions that I believe will really help you to feel less lost in life. But I want to talk about how this all came about in the first place. So for the past 9 months, I've been trying out a ton of things. I've been gaining a lot of new experiences and it's really given me a lot of direction in life. It started off with making an incredible film, H2Over, which you guys watched, and then it became, trying out e-commerce, dropshipping, learning about search engine optimization, online e-commerce platforms. It became things like actually trying to turn photography and videography, which I do on almost a daily basis, into sort of a side hustle, into a actually profitable business. Now, something that my friends, schoolmates, acquaintances, really just people my age have told me is, I don't know where to start. I don't know what should I do, who should I talk to, what should I learn, what can I do, what are my options? And so right now, I want to give you 17 serious suggestions that I believe will help you feel much less lost in life. So here goes. Alright, so let's start off with a mindset. Believe that the future is bright, but know that it could be bleak. That is the premise, the core ingredient that you need to have before you can even want to improve yourself, before you can even get the ball rolling and really start being open to new ideas. Once you've got that mindset, the next thing you're going to notice is that you don't have any of the building blocks to start making something out of. What you want to do is read. Some of my favorite ways to read include using the Amazon Kindle, which I've made a video and a whole review out of, and also using Audible, which, a lot of people kind of say audiobooks isn't really reading because, it's listening, but I think what matters is the content, and if that's how you learn, which is how I learn, I really love the audio kind of input, then definitely go for it. Really good stuff. Number 3. Keep an open mind and always remain humble. Never be too smart to learn something new. And most importantly, don't assume there's a limit where there isn't. I think it's really easy to fall into the whole trap of thinking that you've seen it all, especially after you read a few books, you've listened to a few podcasts. That's literally what happened with me. I suppose not every 16, 17-year-old would be interested in, business, finance, economics, things like that. And so I thought, I know something that a lot of people don't, or that, the general public at my age just doesn't care about. And then then I started talking to people who were just, 1 or 2 years older than me, but they were so much more ahead in terms of what they were trying to do. They were so much more ahead in the ventures that they were working on. And that's when I was like, I have so much more to learn. I should not only be more open to them, I should be more open to just learning in general. And that leads me on to point number 4. Get interested in personal finances, and if you have, the feel for it, if you have the affinity for it, then do look into macroeconomics. You will learn a lot of things. I think the best way I can explain this is that everything in this world just primarily revolves around providing value and receiving value. And I don't want to hear, I'm not interested in this is not for me, this is adult stuff. I think everyone should just start young. The younger you start, the better it is. It's only going to compound from there. Work on everything that you're interested in. Try every single thing that you're interested in. If you're not interested in anything, do what you are best at. So if you're good at sports, focus on that for a while. If you're good at art, maybe you want to put up some artworks online, try to gain a bit of a following from there, see what it can turn into. But you'll also figure out really quickly that you don't really love some stuff as much as you thought you did. So that's kind of how I felt with the whole photo video thing. After I tried to turn my photography and videography into sort of more of a side hustle, I realized that, I really just love making YouTube videos as more of a hobby. I don't really want to, render my services for just anyone. And so you learn these sort of things about yourself, which I think will really help you in future. Alright, I think it's actually getting a little darker right now. I'm gonna head inside, maybe grab dinner or something, and we're gonna resume later. Alright, finally wrapped up dinner, so let's continue. Approach what you love with intensity. If you don't live and you don't breathe something for even a short period of time, you don't really love it, just move on. That's what I did. I'm now doing greater things which I feel are more meaningful, which I feel really contribute and make a difference. Don't cling on so tightly to what you're good at that you can't get better at what you could be great at. Perhaps one of the most important ones, find people who inspire you, who make what you want to do seem really easy, and then emulate them. Now, one recurring problem which I know you are going to ask is, how am I supposed to figure out, who are the people who inspire me, and how do I actually find out about their habits, their way of life, to actually emulate them? The latter problem is more of just knowing what they do, their habits, how they run their daily lives, how they arrange their meetings, how they actually choose their friends, things like that. So what you can do, and what I would recommend, is to go back to reading, go back to books. I just finished Steve Jobs' biography about 2 weeks ago, and it was an amazing book. In terms of the question of how do you even find the people who inspire you, you might want to look inward into your own beliefs, your own values, things that I talk a lot about on this channel. And if you have any queries, I would highly recommend the book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. It's a really great book about purpose, intention, and finding your why, which is your reason for doing things, which will also help you narrow down the people who you want to follow based on what they do, which indicates what you think is important. Finally finished up the book Poor Economics. Now we're gonna get some snacks. Got bread right here. Then we have fries. These are actually one of the better foods that I've had here. It's a simple fry and egg sandwich, but it works, it does the trick. Alright, we're done with food. I think now's a good time to go back to that list of suggestions that I was talking about yesterday, so let's continue. You want to find a lot of good mentors, true mentors who live and breathe what they do and what they preach. And the reason is because there is no one better to show you the path than someone who's already done it. One thing I want to note is that although you have to find a lot of true mentors, and I'm always in the search for mentors, you want to be careful of so-called fake gurus. They're very common nowadays. So do protect yourself, be sure to do your due diligence, and just keep yourself safe. Always trust yourself more over conventional wisdom. One other way you identify a good mentor is that instead of actually telling you what is the right way and this is what you should do, which a lot of the good ones will not tell you, what they'll actually do is try to help you believe more in yourself, believe more in your own advice, your own gut feeling, because ultimately your intuition is priceless, and that's the thing that you're gonna have with you forever, and that is the only skill that you can constantly hone in. Alright, so we've talked about mentors, but now let's talk about the people around you. So the number one skill that I think is incredibly important is that you learn how to audit the people that you surround yourself with. Now, I do want to say that even within the group of people who have the same vision as you, who are trying to work towards the same goal, not everyone is someone you should be working with 24/7. I have friends who I can do that with. I meet them almost every single week. I meet them maybe twice, 3 times a week. But there are also people who I just message from time to time, maybe, once a month or once every 2 weeks, just to try to bounce some ideas and see what we've got, try to check in on each other's progress. Alright, lesson number 12 that I learned, and this is an extremely simple one. Take care of your health. Pay attention to your body. It's gonna give you signs, and the fundamental reason is this, right? You cannot be successful if you're dead. So simple. You cannot be successful if you're dead. You cannot be happy if you're dead. You cannot be anything if you're dead. So keep yourself fit, keep yourself healthy. As long as you feel good, you look good, you're definitely just gonna perform better. You're gonna perform good. Alright, lesson number 13, and this is extremely important. I think it's something I've done my whole life, but a lot of people take for granted, and it's that don't do things for the sake of doing them, right? If you're just starting out, you're gonna find that you don't have a lot of time, you have a lot of daily commitments, you have a lot of habits and routines that you've built in over time, over probably your whole life, that you just kind of take for granted and don't really think about. And those are the things that are eating a lot of your time. And when you stop doing things because they're the default thing that you should do, when you stop, just working for the sake of working, you're gonna realize that you can actually do much more. Time management is all about optimization and eliminating the things that don't really matter. Let's move on to the 14th suggestion that I have for you. A lesson that I learned that I think is really important and that I'm actually doing right now by making this video. Put meaningful messages and content out into the public. First of all, it's a great way to just build your own online portfolio, but it's also incredibly value adding for people. And I'd say that a lot of opportunities are going to come to you if you put yourself out there online in public. Now, everyone knows something, everyone knows someone. You have something that only you know, and if you know about a topic more than the average person in the streets, you are qualified to talk about it, and you are qualified to help that person. No one's ever gonna not accept help from someone who knows better, and that's the whole premise here. We're trying to build a community, we're trying to help people, and you should be part of it. Alright, number 15. This one is especially important because you're gonna encounter it a lot. Let's talk about rejection. Embrace rejection, because every single no is one step closer to a yes. The whole concept comes from this book called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Highly recommend you guys go read it. It talks about how every time someone says no, someone rejects you, maybe you have a great idea, maybe you have some kind of proposition that you're trying to propose to someone, what they're doing is basically regaining some kind of control back, some kind of psychological control. The more they say no, the more likely they are to eventually say yes when you finally pop the big question. So embrace rejection and keep going. Now, I want to say that the reason I think knowing how to deal with rejection is important is because in this journey where you're trying to kind of find yourself, find your path, and do new things, a lot of people are going to say no to you, a lot of people are going to reject you. I've actually been trying to get this whole new kind of huge project startup thing, which I can't really talk too much about. I've been trying to get it up, and the amount of rejections I've gotten, really from technical people who know what they're doing, who know what they're saying, it's very discouraging if you don't go with the right mindset, because they just tell you what you're trying to do, it's not possible, what you're trying to do, it's too complex, it's crazy. Something that people are going to start telling you is, don't you think you are diversifying a bit too much? You're trying to spread your time, you're trying to spread yourself a little too thin. Aren't you biting off more than you can chew? And what I'd say is, the fact is, you are probably biting off more than you can chew, but if you don't, then what else are you going to do with your time? You know what I mean? Like, if you have, say, 6 hours and you spend all that 6 hours on 6 different things, an hour for each, and if, say, you cut back on one activity, you're going to have an extra hour, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to use your phone, or are you just going to scroll YouTube? If that is the case, then why not just use that 1 hour to do what you actually wanted to do, to learn a new skill, to network with certain people, to read, that's a great thing as well. Why not do all of that? I think the key is that you never let anyone tell you what your limit is. You probably already know what it is, and if you want to break it, that's fine. If you want to go above and beyond, that's fine as well. So the point is, if you want to find your direction, if you want to feel less lost, what you want to do is really dabble in a lot of things. That's the quickest way to find out what you like, what you don't like, what you will accept, what you will not accept, what you will tolerate in the short term, what you might tolerate in the long term, what are some really important things that you want in an activity, in a business, in friends, in a job maybe that you would love to have in future. And all of that can only be found out if you actually take the time to experiment and kind of get your feet wet right now. The last thing I have for you, a little nugget of advice if you will, number 17, is to always live as if there's hope, because there is. I know sometimes it's hard, it's difficult when it seems like you haven't figured things out yet, and everyone wants you to figure things out, or everyone's forcing you to figure things out. It's difficult when life kind of nudges you and pulls and pushes you in different directions and kind of forces you, compels you to choose a definitive path. It's hard, right? The key is knowing that you will figure things out, hopefully. And if you don't, then just trying will make it worth the while. Now, I don't really know what is going on. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not sure that I'm even on the right path. But I believe that if I keep going, if I keep trying every single thing I want to, I believe that if I keep learning, if I keep meeting the right people and interacting with them, I believe that if I keep working on what I'm passionate about, if I keep enriching my mind and my soul with content that really uplifts me, uplifts my spirit, inspires me at a core level, that eventually it will work out. I have to believe that. That's the only way forward. That's the only thing that will keep you going. And that thing, that feeling of a better future, can be summed up in one word: hope.